Hi guys, so we can't fix problems unless we learn from past mistakes. And Nick Ferrari from LBC is clearly not part of the solution here. He took a call from a listener who explained why we're in a situation where 27 people have lost their lives crossing the channel on Wednesday. We have seen the crocodile tears being shed from the likes of Johnson, Patel and even Farage. These are people who are not interested in solving this problem. But before we solve a problem, we need to understand why it's happening. People like Nick Ferrari were dismissive of those who explained that both an aggressive foreign policy along with leaving the European Union would create such problems. Here he is.
Britain and France both have taken responsibility for conflicts they've created in Africa and the Middle East. And when it comes to what Michael Howard was saying, cooperation and stuff, what has happened is you guys voted to end cooperation, to take back control. And the result of this, that we're no longer signatories to Dublin Agreement.
Peter, for the love of God, 27 people at the bottom of the channel. When are you going to stop? We are where we are, for God's sakes. Will you stop going back? Can we try and find a solution, right? Rather than replaying the track of about 4 or 5 years ago, Peter. When will you let that go, man? When?
So what is Nick Ferrari's solution? Well, Nick Ferrari's solution is to give more money to France and force them to keep people in France. People who don't want to stay in France. People who want to get to the United Kingdom. People who do not want to stay in France. They want to claim asylum in Britain. So Nick Ferrari's solution is, well, we should try and force these people to stay in France. Even though these people are determined to get to the UK. They will travel across dangerous waters to get to the UK. Now, here is a solution, maybe, if Nick Ferrari truly cares about these 27 people who he says are lying at the bottom of the channel. How about sending a ferry over? So they wouldn't actually have to rely on these people traffickers. Could you do that? Do you think Nick Ferrari would support such a hypothesis? Such a solution? The UK government organise some ferries, send them to France, pick up all the people who want to arrive in the UK, because not everyone wants to travel to the UK. A small number want, in proportion to the amount of people in France who've claimed asylum in France, a proportion of those want to travel to the UK. Do you think Nick Ferrari, Nigel Farage, Boris Johnson, Priti Patel, people who were crying yesterday, crying crocodile tears about these 27 people who've lost their lives, do you think they would support, the idea of sending a ferry or a number of ferries to France to pick up people so they wouldn't actually have to travel across these dangerous waters and they wouldn't have to hand over their money to these people traffickers? Can you imagine? It would eliminate the people traffickers overnight, because why would somebody pay a people trafficker thousands of euros to cross the channel when there's a ferry system, a free ferry to transport people? I don't think Nick Ferrari would support such a plan. Do you?
When you're going to take responsibilities for your actions, do you always expect someone else to clean up your mess?
My God. So, all right, okay. So you just continue to let people drown in the channel, blaming the Americans and the British and the French for activities in Iraq and everywhere else, and Afghanistan, and then Brexit. You just keep playing the blame game. Don't look for any solution whatsoever, Peter. You be comfortable in your own way.
The solution, Nick, is, as Michael Howard was saying, is to cooperate with European countries. And European countries like France take twice as many asylum seekers as United Kingdom.
Why didn't they stop 30 putting to sea yesterday, then? Why do they drive... If they're so crash-hot at it, why didn't they stop 30 people putting to sea yesterday?
They didn't stop those people because those people are determined to get to the UK. They can't stop everyone. They can't put a police officer at every 100 yards along the coast. It's not feasible. And, one police officer wouldn't be able to stop a dozen or 20 people trying to get across the sea. If these people are determined, once again, what does Nick Ferrari want the French government to do? To arrest these people, put them in prison, and then what? When they're released, what are the people going to do? They're going to go right to the sea and try and cross it once again. These people are determined to get to the UK. Wouldn't it make sense to provide them safe routes? I'm not talking about Well, I talked about ferries, but Nick Ferrari probably wouldn't support that. Maybe have some other safe routes for these people to access to get to the UK. But the problem here for Nick Ferrari and Farage and Boris Johnson and Patel and others is that they don't want the people to arrive in the UK. So they would prefer to pay France to try and keep some people there. They would prefer these people, I'm sorry I have to say this, but it seems that they would prefer these people to drown at sea than to arrive in the UK. Because as I said, if they truly cared about it, they would be campaigning for safer routes.
The con, they take tens of millions of pounds a year. Sure, they stop some, but they're not that interested. They would rather see them put to sea and hopefully cross the other side.
Because the people want to get to the other side. You can't stop people who are determined to get to the other side.
Be honest about it. Irrespective of the EU, irrespective of Brexit, that is the opinion of the French authorities currently.
Yeah, because we voted to end cooperation. We voted for this.
No, we did not vote to end cooperation whatsoever. We voted to leave a political union. We have cooperation in other areas. And I would say this morning, as they're waking up in Paris, they should say there is far more blame lying there because they have the policemen and women who could have stopped these people going to sea rather than in London, in the British government. You must see that.
The European angle here, the Brexit angle, is that the UK decided we don't want to cooperate with the European Union anymore. We want to diverge. And there are consequences related to that. You know, when the UK was a member of the European Union, it could have lobbied at the European Commission, the European Parliament, to do something about this. But you can't do anything about that now. France is under no obligation to take these people back. That's why Priti Patel and others are trying to drive people back while they're still in the sea. Because as soon as they arrive on UK soil, it's very difficult to send people back. That's why they're trying to stop them before they arrive. But as I said, if you truly cared about a solution, you would be supporting safer routes.
Nick, you must see that you can...
No, you want to go back 4 years again. No, okay. You go back 4 years, and I'll go back to yesterday morning.
Look, this is like there's a fire. One of my analogies once again. This is like there's a fire. And, you know, you're saying there's a fire and we need to put out the fire. Yes, we need to put out the fire. But why is there a fire? Well, there's a fire because you've left a load of cardboard boxes around and you've left cans containing petrol and paint tins and stuff like this lying all around. And when you're telling the people, look, there's a fire because of this, their immediate response is, stop talking about the cause of the fire. Let's just fix the problem. Let's put out the fire. Okay, let's try and put out the fire. But these are the same people who would tell, when you told them before the fire that there was a risk of a fire, they would say, no, stop scaremongering. There is no risk. The cardboard boxes are perfectly fine. The petrol cans and gas cylinders are perfectly fine. There's nothing to worry about. Stop scaremongering. And now we have this fire. They're complaining about the fire and they're saying we need to put out the fire. Yes, we need to put out the fire. But we also have to look at the cause of the fire. And dismissing the cause is just going to create another fire in the future. These people are not serious about dealing with this problem. They don't like the consequences, but they don't want to look at the source. As I said, Nick Ferrari is not part of the solution here. He's part of the problem. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?